Hi there and welcome to our beginner's guide for the Smok Fetch Pro Kit. First off, we're going to go over what is inside the box. Inside the box you've got the device itself, a charging cable, and you've got two different pods, one for RGC coils, which are slightly higher powered, and one for RPM coils, which are slightly lower powered. Underneath you've also got a note about battery safety, a warranty card, and a user manual. First off, we're going to install a battery into the device and talk a little bit about battery safety. So when the device comes to you, it will not have a pre-installed battery. This will need to be bought separately or at the same time as the kit. Now, even though this battery may look like a slightly oversized AA or AAA, it's quite a lot different. It's a different type of chemistry and it's quite a lot more powerful. So you need to be quite careful with these. When you buy these will come in this little sort of silicone seal here. And if you're not using it, if it's not in the device, if it's not installed in anything, you want to make sure you keep it inside this little rubber thing. This protects the positive and the negative terminals. Even when it's inside this, you want to make sure you keep it away from any loose metallic objects like spare change or keys or anything like that, just to be as safe as possible. But we're going to take it out because we're going to install it into the device just now. At the base of the device, there's a little slot you can slide across here, lift up, and that's where the battery goes. Now it might be hard to see, but down at the bottom there's a little red cross. That is the positive end. On the battery, you'll also see at the top marked with a positive. It looks like a little cross, and the bottom is flat, that's the negative. So we'll take the positive here, we'll insert that, we'll flip that down, push it to the side, that's now locked in place. Next up, we're going to get this filled up. So in terms of liquid suitability, this is a high wattage kit, and it's really only suitable for any liquids that are at least 50% VG. 50 VG or higher is what you want for this. In terms of nicotine strength, you only really want to use this with 0 milligram or 3 milligram liquids. It's quite a powerful kit, so anything above that wouldn't really work. So today we're going to be using something that is 70 VG and with 3 milligrams of nicotine. First things first, we're going to grab one of the pods. I'm going to use the RGC pod, just because it's the one I prefer. So we'll grab this one from the bottom here. And the very first thing we're going to do is check the coil that we've got inside and what wattage that runs at. So to do that, we just grab this little bit at the bottom here, pull that out, and that's our coil there. And up at the very top there, you'll see that it says 40 to 80 W, or 40 to 80 watts. That's the range we can use this coil in, so we're going to remember that for later. We're just going to take that, pop that back in there, spin it until it clips into place, and that's us for now. On the back here, there's a little rubber seal, and we just grab that, lift that up, and that's your fill hole there. So we take the liquid, pop the nib in there nice and safe, and just slowly fill up until we see the tank is full. Once that's done, we just push that down back into place, and that's us. We'll attach that to the device, and we're going to leave that standing for about 10 minutes to let the liquid soak into the coil. So we'll come back in 10 minutes. Right, that's been about 10 minutes. Last, we just need to adjust the device and get puffing. So first thing we can adjust is the airflow. Inside the pod here, this little silver bit at the bottom can rotate. What this does is adjust the airflow. When it's fully open, it'll be quite cool and airy, and the more you close it off, the warmer and the tighter it'll feel. I'd recommend for the first time just leaving it fully open and seeing how that feels, and then adjusting that to taste later on. Pop that into there. Next up, we're going to turn the device on, so that's 5 clicks on this big bar at the side. You'll see the screen come on there, and you'll see that says 5W, so that's 5 watts. Remember the coil said 40 to 80, so we're going to start at 40. And then we can adjust it upwards all the way to 80, just depending on our own taste. And then we're ready for puffing. So all you do to puff is just hold the button there as you take a draw. Once you're finished, let go of the button, and that's everything. When you're not using the device, you want to make sure that you turn it off or lock it. So if it's in a bag or a pocket or something, you just want to click this again 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll turn the device off, and that means if something pushes up against the button, for example, it's not going to be sitting firing away without you realizing it. Next up, we're going to go over how, when, and why to change the coil. So why do you need to change the coil in the first place? Just due to the vaporization process, deposits will build up on the coil, and eventually over time it'll need to be replaced. It is a consumable part of the device. How long will that take, or when do you need to do that? Well, it depends on each individual and a couple of different factors. The sweetness of the liquid you're using, and your kind of general usage patterns, the wattage you're using as well. But for most people, somewhere in the realm of 5 to 14 days is a pretty good estimate. In those 5 to 14 days though, how do you actually know when it's time to do it? Well, a couple of different things. The main thing that you'll see is that the flavour will be quite degraded. The flavour will not be as good as it was when it started, or it may even taste quite burnt. That's a pretty good indicator that you need to change. You may also notice a kind of a bubbling or gurgling as you're trying to inhale, or you may have a little bit of leaking or sort of spitting coming out the tip at the top. That's all pretty good signs that it's time to change your coil. So we'll show you how to do that now. First things first, you want to make sure the tank is nice and empty, or do this over a sink or a bit of kitchen towel or something. You remove the pod like so, and then just like we did at the start, we grab the coil there, take that, move that away to one side, grab your new coil, pop it in there, make sure it clips in nice and secure, and then repeat from the start. So fill it up, close that off again, leave it standing for 10 minutes, make sure you adjust the airflow and the wattage to what the coil needs, and then that's pretty much it. That's everything there is to know about this device. So if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to speak to one of our expert staff members in the store or contact us online. Thanks.